All right, everyone. So we're going to start going over the trades from today. This is an interesting day because although my accuracy was only 50%, I had 4 trades, 2 winners, 2 losers. I'm still nicely in the green, and that's because today I had a profit-loss ratio of 4-to-1. My average winners were $1,200. Average winners were that's correct. Average winners were $1,200 and average losers were $300. So with that, I've got a 4-to-1 profit to loss ratio. And even with just 50% accuracy, I'm still in the green. So let's take a look at the trades here for today. GVH is the stock that I did the best on. RNAZ, RNAZ is the stock I did the worst on. But you know what? Today, I broke the ice. First trade of the day, GVH put me in the green. And so I fortunately today never went into the red, which is always a nice day. So where did GVH come from? All right, well, GVH, this one had news pre-market. And you'll actually see that it first popped up right here. Let's see, it was right here. It first popped up at about 7:30, and I saw it hit the scanners. I saw some people mention it, but I wasn't sure about it. I said, after a no trade day yesterday, and given the fact that penny stocks are still in focus right now, I'm going to start slow. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for something to really show me a nice pattern. So on GVH, I didn't take this first pop right here, but when it curled right here, I took this trade as it pulled away, and this went from $2 all the way to $3 a share. That's a 50% move in one 5-minute candle. Well, 2 5-minute candles. Still, that is really nice. I wish I had bought more shares of it, but here was the problem. Okay, as it squeezed up, let's look at this. So all of a sudden right here, it's sort of creeping higher, right? It's creeping higher, pops up to 2, and then it busts up here to 240, 250. It does a little micro pullback inside of this candle, which you can't see. You would have had to be watching the level 2. And then it pushes up to 280, $3, and goes all the way to 340. So I bought on that micro pullback right there at 248. So with an entry at 248, 250, I took a starter of 2,500 shares and doubled to 5,000. It was actually like 4,800. I got a partial fill, but that's okay. So let's see. Let me just go back and check. So I got a partial fill on the second order. My first order, I filled full size at 48. The second order, I filled 2,025 shares at 250. And then I added at 297. And as it broke through 3, I took profit off the table at 307. Now it ended up going to 340, but look at this candle. Big topping tail. So sellers pushed it back down, and it drops all the way back down to 250. It bounced back to 280, goes back to 250, comes back up to 260, 270, 280. But in this area, it started to get really choppy. And notice the MACD. MACD crossed over right about here. And so at that point, I was like, no, I'm not going to take any more trades on it unless we have a really nice 5-minute setup. But we didn't get a nice 5-minute setup. The 5-minute had this nasty topping tail on it, right? So we've got this big topping tail. That's showing weakness. Little consolidation, but a bit extended off the 9 moving average. And it didn't set up for that trade back up to 340. So I got one trade on it. $2,200 I held for about 10 minutes, and I was pleased with that. The trade was pretty quick, but I was pleased with that. So then my next trade was RNAZ, RNAZ. And by the way, if we look at volume today, you'll see that penny stocks are definitely still getting a lot of volume. Lucy is up 80% this morning, but this is kind of remarkable because this stock made a big move last week, and then it gave back almost all of it. And then today is up 80%. What a bounce off the low. No trades on this for me, but it has 185 million shares of volume. So a lot of people are paying attention to it, as you can see. RSLS has 133 million shares. SCPX has 84 million. So we've got some volume still focused on these lower price stocks. And that is taking attention away from potentially what could be otherwise good setups. Now, this morning, we had that first rejection on GVH. That was at 7:30 a.m. So we had this first rejection right here, right? Rejection right there. And then we had BNAI hit the scanners, which is our second leading gainer. And this one popped up to 240 at 8 a.m., but then topping tail pulled back again. So kind of like another rejection. Then I think we had, was it Gene that hit the scanners? Look at this, popped up, completely reversed. That was terrible. And RNAZ, well, this one I got caught in. I jumped in it. I saw that it had news. It looked good, but I ended up buying from a hidden seller at 210 and stopping out at 201. 5,000 shares, lost 500 bucks. Then I got back in at 257 to buy the dip, and I stopped out at 250. It ends up bouncing, and I had the right idea, but nonetheless. So I had 2 losses on that one. My average losers were about 300 each. All right, so $578 in the red on RNAZ. And then my final trade was on ASTS, which when it first hit the scanners, I was like, no, float's too high, 124 million shares. It popped up, it pulled back. That was right in this area. Pops up, pulls back, goes higher. Then it goes sideways, dips and rips at the open right here. And the one trade that I took was a little bit risky, but I'll show you where I bought. It was right here. Here was the thing. We were pushing down against 650 and we kept not breaking. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to take a long here. And it ended up pulling away pretty nicely. So that was a good trade, but I sold too soon and didn't buy enough shares. So it was a small winner. But that time I was like, well, look, you know, I already gave back 25% of my profit on the day on RNAZ. So I don't really want to give back too much more. I got to be a little careful. I'm not even sure if this is obvious, and the float's a little too high. So to be honest, I could have just as easily not traded it, and that wouldn't have made any difference. RNAZ hit the scanner with news, was worth a stab, kept the risk tight, acceptable loss. GVH, you know, nice trades. So again, 50% accuracy today, a little lower than I'd like, but nonetheless in the green, and green is good. That's what counts. So at this point, you know, it's 10:15. I just don't feel like there's a lot that's looking really good for me. I see that there's obviously stocks moving. And by the way, yesterday, AWIN put in a really big move during Power Hour. So this had earnings news and it went from $4 all the way up to 10, which is awesome. But of course, I missed it. I mean, you know, that's not surprising. I'm not trading at that time of the day. And in any case, this was on very light volume. So these light volume moves, well, they're pretty tricky. It's going to be hard to trade these. So at this point, the question that I keep asking myself is, what is obvious? And this morning, you know, if we look at our top gainers scanner or we look at our top gappers scanner, these are obvious. They've got a lot of volume, but they weren't all easy to trade. Lucy, you know, again, this isn't my cup of tea. This isn't something I would typically trade because of the price. And although it's moved around a little bit, it's not one that I think would be easy for quick breakout scalp trades. BNAI, already went over that one. You know, as it came back up here, I sort of wondered if it was going to push through the high, like a cup and handle formation, but then it sold off and then it came through. So just sort of weird price action there. Let's actually see if we can draw a line on this. So a little bit of resistance there, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Sing, another one that's cheap. You know, this is going to be it feels like it's going to be a slow finish to the month for me. Let's see. Let's go over here and look at the last 90 days. Oh, well, we could look at the calendar. Let's look at the calendar instead. So looking at the calendar here to finish up the month of May, you know, after today, we've only got 2 days left, Thursday and Friday. Right? So Monday, yesterday was a no trade day for me. I didn't see anything I liked. Today I'm up 1,800 bucks, which is good. You know, chipping away. These are green days. It adds. But to hit the $15,000 kind of weekly goal, I don't think that's going to happen this week. I would need to be up 7,500 tomorrow and the next day. It could happen, but we just don't have the strength in the market right now for me to feel like there's a high likelihood of it happening. And so one of the things that I was reminding everyone is to trade the market you're in, not the market you want to be in. We all want to be in a market where we're tripling our daily goal every single day. That's awesome. It's fun to trade in that market. It feels very rewarding. You feel like you're being very productive. You're doing a great job. Markets like this, I struggle with the feeling that I'm not being productive enough. Yesterday I sit down all day long. Well, I sat for a while, several hours, and I got nothing to show for it. So on that, on that particular day, on those types of days, I just have this feeling like I'm not being productive. And I reminded myself that today I have to be cautious not to overcompensate for that. Just because yesterday was slow and I didn't take a trade doesn't mean I should be doubly aggressive today to make up for it. You just have to reset each day and trade the market that's right in front of you. Try to avoid trading your P&L, focusing just on, of digging yourself out of a loss or making a certain amount of money. Focus on the chart patterns. And for those of you who are tending to overcomplicate your charts, I encourage you to simplify them. You don't need all these technical indicators. You can keep it very simple and just focus on the messages that these candlesticks are communicating. Because that's the thing. This is a language. These nice long body candles, that's very bullish. We had a move on, let me look. Was it GVH or I think it was ASTS. Let me look. Maybe it was on. So this is kind of a nice move right here, by the way. See how the green candles are getting increasingly bigger? They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That accumulation pushing higher is always good to see. Bigger candles topping tail up here. But just pay attention to those candles because they're telling you a story. And I think it's very easy to end up sort of losing sight of what's right in front of you because you start focusing on indicators and, different metrics that are not necessarily super valid or important to be looking at. So that's it for me. Really not much else to say about today. A relatively slow day, but the best part was the 4-to-1 profit to loss ratio on average over the course of the day that got me green, even though my accuracy was just 50%. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, today's the last day of Memorial Day sale. So if you haven't checked that out, you can come over to Warrior Trading and check it out. If you're thinking about becoming a Warrior Pro member, we've got some nice discounts for you. And I want to, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you for the next episode real soon. And I'll take this as a chance to remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success whether you trade with me or you learn on your own. So take it slow, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.